Once again, just as I mentioned Saturday night, just very, very proud of our football team, finding a way to compete and to win. It's really gratifying to see all three phases have to step up big late in that game to give us an opportunity to win. Says an awful lot about our team's character, their heart, and their just sheer will and determination to find a way to win a football game. So very proud of their effort, and hopefully they'll give us some momentum and give us a little boost of energy this week as we prepare for a very big game with Georgia. So just like always, we will embrace the good things that we did and look at those things on film and certainly get back and look at all the things that we need to do better and really focus and concentrate on those areas here this week and try to improve. We're going to need to play our best football game of the year here this week against a very good Georgia team. So we're excited to get back to work today and look to improve for a big week.
Mark, do you guys embrace the significance of this week, or are you trying to shy away from your players?
No, you can't shy away from it. There's too much information out there. They know what's going on, and that's okay. They're allowed to be excited, and you hear me talk about it all the time. Whatever they need to do to help motivate them, that's fine. But the preparation needs to stay the exact same. And our approach, and we'll be consistent in our approach, and we'll do the same things that we do every week.
You need to be careful about the way they. Can you imagine this being kind of like an opening game or a rivalry game kind of situation where you got to bring them in a little bit, or?
Well, I'm consistent, with our approach, and every week the situation's different. So situational awareness is something that I address with them every week. So there's always, situational awareness, the situation, the football keys, and then the motivation. So that won't change. But obviously the situation is a little different than it's been, and we'll talk about that. And but our approach will be the exact same.
To win in such dramatic fashion, and then to have the kind of hype surrounding this upcoming game, do you think you'll have to have like a kind of bring them down to earth moment with the team?
I don't think so. I mean, we need to address issues, and that there's always that. There's always that, bring them down to earth and being very direct in the things that we need, that are not acceptable, and things that we need to improve on. That's always the same. As far as, I think, our players will understand the areas that we need to improve, and embrace that. And, I think they know the challenge that's ahead of them. So, it's really about just giving our best preparation today and having the best, put ourselves in the best position to be successful. I think, the situation, it is what it is. They've worked hard to put themselves in that position, but, we just got to stay consistent and be the best version of ourselves we can be.
Mark, in watching your coach's show, you seem to have been about as happy as anybody can be, as happy as you've been all year long. And with that, thinking of that and taking away the final score of Saturday's game, how complete was that game?
Well, the joy of the game was just how dramatic it was, and how unlikely at times it was to pull the victory out. So, but we were always fighting, and it was just it was a fun moment for our football team. There's no question. Just with again just the way it ended. But as far as a complete game, no, I think it was far from a complete game for us. I was very pleased to see us make progress in the passing game. I was very pleased to see Terry grow and our offense and the players around him improve, because they certainly took away the run game. And so, unlike a week ago where we talked about, we didn't, throw the ball for 19 yards and won, here in this game we had to throw the ball for just under 300 to win because the run game wasn't working. So that to me is a sign of progress, and we'll continue to build on that. Defensively, the second half, it's a remarkable effort. When I look at that drive chart and you see whatever 2, 6, 9, -6, -5, I mean that's as complete of a half that I've been a part of with the quality of opponent that we were facing.
Mark, can you walk us through the conversation with Lynn before the punt return? And have you ever had a player who's told you he was going into the game?
Well, like I said, Lynn has great respect. He wasn't, and he was like, Coach, and I'm like, go do it, man. Like, what do we got to lose at that point? Like, go do your thing. And he was like that all day. He was very passionate about, give me the rock, like, give me the ball, let me do my thing. He was doing it. He was making competitive catches. He was making competitive runs after catch. He wanted it. And, like I said, he's a competitor. And, at that point, it was nice to see him. He caught that post late in the game at X, like I talked about last week about possibly moving him around a little bit. He was at a different spot and ran under it and made a great catch there. And no, it was really no brainer for me. He didn't have to twist my arm. He's like, Coach, and I'm like, go do it. Sure enough, about 12 seconds later, he was in the end zone. So.
Will you give him any more opportunities?
Yeah, he will. He always catches them. He always works on it, and he's getting more and more confident with that. And some of these teams, some of these games, it's not about returning because they either put so much height on it or they're spraying the ball all over the place, and just field position and maintaining possession is such a big deal. And but when the opportunity is there, then we do want the ball in his hands.
Mark, do you think at this point you guys have shown enough in the passing game for other teams to respect that aspect of your offense and not just load boxes up?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. We have all year. I mean, teams are, when you put yourself in a position to be 7-1, then you get people's attention across the board. I mean, we know there's always areas everywhere on our team that we're going to improve on and try to build on. But I think that's evident, through the course of this year that we could hurt you through the air.
Have you ever accidentally pushed a hole through the ceiling in an opposing locker room before?
Yeah, I forgot to send that email and my check this morning. But I was up a little higher than I thought.
Mark, do you realize what this win this past weekend means to Big Blue Nation, this fan base? Does the team realize it? Because
We, for so many years, I'm 53 years old, so many years we've been through the receiving end of those kinds of losses. I mean, it's just huge for this fan base.
Well, it's a big deal, and we don't shy away from that. The change in culture and what you do, and that relentless fight. That's just a relentless fight, day in and day out, by a lot of people to put yourself in a position to play in big games, and that's a culmination of 6 years of extremely hard work by a lot of people. And I thank all the people that have been there, and the administration, the past coaches, the present coaches, the strength and conditioning people, the most importantly our players, past and current. And there's a lot of people that put a lot into it, and the fan base that's been so loyal for a long time. And that does mean something to me. I've always said that. I have at every press conference and every year, the importance of representing the fan base the right way, the importance of playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, and just constantly working to put your team in a position to do that.
Was that a spontaneous moment in the locker room, or did you lose a bet of some sort?
No. That was totally spontaneous. I generally don't get overly excited in there, but just the way we pulled that out, and the way the guys were just having fun, and it was in the moment. We had a lot of fun. You see how much confidence I have in them that they were going to catch me? Yeah. Well, I'm always a little banged up. I feel like I play after games. I'm getting old, and I'm always sore. I really do. I feel like I play. The players always laugh at me. I always see them in there in the training room on Sunday. We're all in there getting worked on. Yeah.
Where Danny came in on, I think, the second drive, what was the hope with that play as opposed to just letting Terry or
Well, just, that Danny has some physicality about him in some of the Q run game, maybe to offset some of that from Terry. We'd had some of that in the works for a couple weeks, and at the right moment, the right time, certain plays, and he can do things off of that. That's the nice thing. So it's not like true Wildcat where you just put, you got a big, strong guy back there where you could do some Q run game, but he also has a very live arm. He could throw the football, and so you could build a little package here and there off of that. And as I said last week in this press conference that that Terry was our starter. And that we were working hard with the other guys, and that we had to have the other guys ready to play, and I'm glad Gunnar got some reps, some more series under his belt. I'm really glad Terry responded the way he did, and it was good to get Danny in there. We wish you could have got him a little more. Sometimes you get him in there if you rip off a good run or play action or whatever you do off of it, then you could maybe let him go a little bit, and. We got the first down, the ball's on the ground, they're reviewing it, it's time to go back, we got the first down there, so put Terry in and go.
Mark, Terry threw the interception in about 2.5 minutes left, but he comes right back on an 80-yard drive. Were there some things that kind of reminded you of Steven last year?
Yeah.
Mental toughness?
Without a doubt there, just growth. And, we went through growing pains with Steven, as well, his first year and first time starting. That's hard, and all of our players, it's easy when we sit in there on the meeting room, and all you armchair quarterbacks, and I'm joking, but you sit there and even players, you sit there and you watch the film, it's like you do this, this, and this. Well, it's a little different deal. When you got those guys coming at you and things are moving, things are changing, it's a hard position to play. It's a hard position to play. Everybody loves the backup quarterback, and it's a hard position to play. It needs some reps. You need some time, and I feel like he did make. He responded the way we wanted him to, both in the game and certainly in that last drive.
Do you think when Terry watched the film on the long pass down the field, do you think when he watched the film, he felt like he got a little gritty because he had Lynn open on the knee?
Yeah, I think he needs to see that. We need to continue to work on that. And listen, those are. We need to start hitting the intermediates and hitting some shots. We hit the big shot to Lynn. I think we had maybe 7 explosive plays. We need more. But some of the times they're low percentage plays. Listen, who throws the ball down the field as effectively as Missouri? And their shots ended up hurting them. They were, if you watch the game closely, they were attacking, and they were throwing the ball down the field. And in the second half, at least 3, maybe 4 of those 3 and outs were shot plays. And when they get behind the sticks, guess what? They ended up punting. So that gave us an opportunity. So same thing with us. We need to hit them. We did. We need to continue to work on that in intermediate throws. But, when you're throwing the ball for just under 300 yards with our balance, that's going to help, you win some games.
You mentioned a lot about growth throughout this process. What kind of, and more specifically, did the moments where they're performing in the clutch kind of show itself?
I think that showed a lot. And what you saw was great leaders really perform. And guys that are, have been doing it and working so hard and doing the right things and being such good leaders really, just kind of show up. Who you are in the dead of the night is going to show up under the brightest lights. And you kind of saw that with some of these people, some of these players that responded and showed up in a really big moment with a lot of pressure on them.
Mark, was there a point, or when was the point that you realized your defense was this good?
I knew, we were good going into the year. Again, I had a lot of confidence, and I'll go back, in the summer, I said I had a lot of confidence in this team, and I believe that. And I know the amount of work that went in for years and years and years to get in this position. And so I felt good about them all along. I told you that in the summer. I told the national media that in the summer. I said that I felt good, but you always have to prove it. You always have to go do it. You have to go play. Nothing's ever given to you. You got to go earn it each and every week, and they've responded, and so, we still have some big games left, starting this week. So how we respond and how we play and prove it every 7 days. So the defense will have to prove it again this week, but I love their attitude and their competitiveness and their desire and their determination to be great, to work to be great, to what they do to put themselves in a position to be good. That's what I like. Sometimes the outcome we can't control, but we could certainly control our preparation and the way we go about our business, and I really like that.
What concerns you the most about Georgia?
Well, Georgia's a complete football team. They're very, very talented, and they're well coached, and they're good in all phases. So they can hurt you in any given play, because of the talent that's on the field.
You talked about after the game, going back and forth a little bit with Derek Beatty, Josh Allen. I think the video clip with Benny Snell, kind of after that penalty coming over. What's the line there? Where you're taking impact and kind of going back and forth, but from a player's perspective, not going over.
There's always going to be a line. There's always, those players know that and respect that. But through time, and in the trust, both sides, that's how you understand that. And I trust and respect our players, and I know darn well they trust and respect their coaches. So there's always, in this business and that kind of competitiveness, there's going to be people, flaring up tempers and different things, but you can't be thin-skinned and soft, and you take it and you move on. Like I said, great examples were Josh Allen, and jumping him and straightening him out and him responding. That's what pros do. That's what mature players do. Darius West, same thing. He's been a complete warrior. What he did was wrong. He came right over. It's like, there's no excuse. My fault. Same thing with Benny's. There's no excuse for it. You can't hurt your team. And we have a team that cares about each other and loves each other, but you can't do those things. You can't put your team in a bad spot.
When Josh decided to come back, did you envision this type of season for him?
I did. I mean, the stats, you don't put numbers on that. I don't know, put like X amount of sacks for him or anything like that, but I did expect him to come back and be a dominant player. I truly, knew in my heart that he was a first-round draft pick, and I don't think there's any question about that now. But I knew that coming into the year. I knew the talent that he had and the ability that he had, and so now the only question is how high. Because he moved himself way up. So just by the way he's playing. But you know what? He's not worried about that. What he's worried about is helping his team win. You see what he does and the way he sacrifices and the way he plays. It's it's inspirational.
After looking at the film, did the club on catch his hand affect his play at all?
It does. It did. It just is what it is. Bothers him. I mean, he has to, those are good, strong, powerful guys, and he doesn't have the ability to grab and, and tackle and things like that. So, but it's not going to slow him down. He's a tough guy, and he's inspirational, and you'd have to cut it off to keep him out of there.
Is there a point where you got to play Chris more though to try to spell him?
There is. I think there's some. I think Chris played 8 snaps. He would like to see him get a few more than that. Mm-hmm.
Chris Westry over to the other side behind Beatty and then put an or in on the depth chart. Is that something specific that's happened?
They've been that's just semantics for us, but Chris is warranted, for y'all or whatever it is, the starting lineup. To us it doesn't matter. All 3 of those guys are starters to us. Always have been. But Chris is really playing really good football.
Mark, when you look at the guys you're recruiting, what are some of the intangibles you saw in Josh that really said this guy can play here and play for us?
Well, when you just first look at it before you know him, you just see the length and the athleticism and the upside that he had. And we're such a developmental sport that you have to project guys a couple years down the road. And he came in and actually did better than we anticipated probably in year 1, year 1, year 2. But he's versatile. his background, playing multiple positions, change of direction, a big athlete. Length never hurts, you know. I told you that I learned from Jimbo. It's not my quote, it's his. But some of those big, long guys, they do more by accident. You know, when you have length and you have size, you know, they just kind of, you know, take up space and get in the way. But obviously, he's taken that to a whole nother level.
Fourth down decisions that you made that you said I think in postgame said regretted or maybe would have done something differently.
I don't think I used the word regretted. But I mean, if you give me hindsight, I'd change them. You know, so again, you'd be lying if you couldn't use hindsight. Didn't work. You know, I'd say, obviously, since they didn't work, probably wrong. You know, with the exception of the one where we stopped them the way we were playing defensively and got the ball right back and got the punt return. You know, I felt we were deep enough there. I knew the 3 would have cut it to an 8, but I just really felt like 7 was important there, or 8 would have been important there. So.
Mark, I'm hoping you can expound on an answer you gave a little bit earlier today, but you can really only appreciate the significance of this game this weekend when you look at it from a historical perspective. Mm-hmm. You've only been here 6 years, but it does seem like you get it, and I think the fans appreciate that. Are you intentional in letting the players know about the history, or do you just consider that a distraction?
Yeah, no, I'm really not going to. I mean, they understand that. They know that. They take pride in some things that they hear and see. I don't really talk about that much. When I have in years past, it's kind of been counterproductive to me. You know what I mean? So it's more, you know, it is what it is. It's this year. This is this year's football team. We are who we are, and you are what you are on film. And you know, you know, there's no getting around some of that, John. You know what I mean? It's going to be talked about. They know that. They know the importance of it. I don't need to build them up on that. I probably more need to calm them down and just, again, go through the process of what we've done to put ourselves in this position and go about our business and have a normal week. That's what we need to do, is have a normal week. The excitement's going to be there. Again, I've always embraced that. I always feel like the fans, they're fans. They deserve that, and we love that. We need that. We need this energy. That's how you recruit at another level. That's how you take your program to another level, when you have energy like that's going to be in here every week, and that helps everybody.
Trends on your third down issues on defense, that seems to be the only stat where you guys aren't in the top 20.
You know, you can't just look at it like that. You got to look at stops. We're stopping people pretty effectively. Why don't you look at points? I'm teasing you. Something, huh, Jan? I mean, I know it wouldn't be a press conference.
Mark, can you quantify how much Wilson got accomplished the other day in his growth?
I don't know if I can quantify it that way. I mean, I know it did a lot for his confidence. I know it did a lot for his team's confidence in him. It is what it is, and does not surprise me, you know, because I just know him, and I know who he is and how he responds, and things don't shake him. And, you know, it's just players have to learn to deal with that now. It's hard, you know, with social media and with things, and, you know, with my own kids, and, you know, just it can be a very, very useful, effective tool, the social media, but it can also be very negative and tough on young people. And that is what it is. So to act like it has no effect, or I don't know. I'm not in every kid's mind, but I know they have to deal with a lot, you know, and they get a lot of pressure on them. But to play at this level, you have to learn to deal with it and put that aside and control the things you could control.
If you guys are in the position you're in with Georgia and you're at home field advantage is always a big deal. Mm-hmm. But considering where you guys are in the standings, in your words, how big a deal is this game here being played in the...
Well, I don't think, you know, me sitting up here saying it's, you know, just another game, I mean, would be lying, because it is playing for the champion. It's playing for the East. I mean, it's one of your goals at the beginning of the year. So obviously it's a big game. But once again, our approach can't change. You know, the situation changes. That's what I always say. Situational. What's the situation? All the situation is, the fact is, we're playing for the East. You know, what are the football keys and what's our motivational piece? That approach won't change. The situation changes every week. Home, away, division game, non-conference.
You challenged the receivers quite a bit in the preseason. Lynn caught everything going his way Saturday, but how do you evaluate the way the rest of the guys play?
Obviously, we need to improve. I thought Taven, came back and became more like him and played really hard and did some really good things. And he had a drop or two. And Dorian's play, his drop, obviously it's inexcusable at that point, right? It's a 3rd and 5 against that football team and a possession, and we have an opportunity to split them right there. It's a big play, and it limits them, another opportunity. So you can't do that. You can't do that. We overcame it this week, but you can't do that as you move forward.
You've been around some teams that have achieved at a pretty high level. Are you seeing anything develop with this group or any common traits with some of those other teams you've been around that were among the best?
Well, I mentioned it after the game. You've heard me talk, if you've been in here, you've heard me talk each and every week how much I really value and love this team from the beginning, from the summer. And, that's the truth. But I also do feel like that something changed a bit Saturday as well. That growth, another step, however you want to say it. I don't know how to put it into words, but I just felt like that truly everybody said that somehow, some way, they're going to do their part to help us win this game. And certainly some guys stepped up in a really big way, but everybody did. Everybody in there made a difference. And, I definitely think we evolved another step.
The special teams especially stepped up, it seemed like, especially with the blocked field goal. Now, on our side, are we going to stick with Chance Ford kicking field goals for the rest of the season?
I'll stick with Chance again here this week. That's correct. And, the special teams were big, but we could play better. We actually need to play better on special teams. I mentioned it after the game and before the game and everything. I really have a lot of respect for Missouri. That is, they play hard, and I knew they would. They were hungry. They played hard on special teams. They actually, outplayed us on some of that. We got the big block, and that was huge in the punt return. You take those out of there, and they beat us in some areas that we need to get cleaned up. So that's where sometimes the big plays kind of stand out, but overall, to us coaches, there's things we can do better.
Georgia lost Sony Michelle and Nick Chubb from last year's team. They're still in the top 50 and rushing offense. So when you look at this new group of Georgia running backs, what are some of the things that stand out?
Yeah, they just the same. When you think of Georgia, you know they have talented running backs, and certainly with Holyfield and Swift, they're very good runners. Physical, will run you over. Their line is really, really good, really talented, physical, and their backs, will run downhill, and then they can run around you. Certainly Swift is electric, and Holyfield is so darn tough and gets tough yards and talented. They're good. Just just like you would expect when you're playing these guys.
How does the preparation change when you've got a guy like Fields running a quarterback?
Yeah, not too much. We're always prepared for that. We have, our package is built in to defend. That doesn't mean it's easy. It's always hard. That. I've always had great respect for, dual threat guys, and certainly one with his ability. But that doesn't mean it'd make it easier. But we're always prepared, and we can get to some of that, pretty quick on what we would do. Again, then it comes down to the difficulty of defending it.
Mark, does Jake Fromm, how does he look different from the guy you played last year?
Well, just, you could just see him, certainly this past game and throughout the season. This past game was, really, I'm sure, did a lot for his confidence as well, because he played just absolutely exceptional and, looked really, really comfortable and made some really terrific throws to some talented people. So just a guy that's getting more experience and, like most quarterbacks, more, getting more and more confident and comfortable with every rep and every game.
Georgia likes to target their tight ends. You were able to limit Missouri's only 2 catches. How do you try to take them out of the game?
It's not just them, it's kind of within our package, within our scheme, what they're doing, where they're trying to hit them and win. Again, it doesn't make it any easier. You know, they're difficult because they have a lot of weapons. And sometimes, it's pick and choose where you try to take away. And then it gives them options and space. So they just put a lot of stress on you in general, so.
Mark, you said that the situation may change, but the process stays the same. Is it hard in a week like this with a game with such high stakes for the head coach and his coaching staff to keep the process the same and not try to do, maybe
No.
think I got to come up with something different or extra to win this game?
No, because we always do that. You know what I mean? We always sometimes outcoach ourselves, and we admit that and say that all the time. There's always a fine line. Do too much, do too little. We do the best we can with giving them opportunity to be successful. But as I've said for a long, long time as a coordinator, and I've told you guys that many times, it's like, when it's wrong, it's on us, and that's the way it should be. But when it's good, it's on them because they make the plays. And I tell them all the time, that was my favorite call at Florida State when we had some of the best defense in the world. Like, you call it. I'm tired of it. Nothing's working. It's on you. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot of magical calls, but they make them good, and they're playing really hard. And so, but no, for us, the process, just the way we go about our business, the organization of the week will be the exact same. Sure, it's always a bit, keeping your kids in check and making sure we're doing the things necessary to put ourselves in a position to be successful. That's a challenge, whether it's getting the team up, getting them to calm down and just prepare, but just go about our business and have a normal week. For us, that won't be difficult. But as far as the X's and O's, there's always a balance there. Trying to get creative, do what we do, change things up. That's every coach in America, and we're always trying to find that right balance.
Okay, folks, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.